Hi, so today I wanted to take just a little video of my makeup of the day. I'm gonna be able to show some of the things that I got from my friend who gave me a bunch of free makeup stuff, and I also wanted to share what I've been trying to do to make sure that my skin is not dry even if in this very dry climate in Paris. So what I noticed really helps me is that I feel like usually when I put on moisturizer and then sunscreen after and then put foundation, it has this little white cast thing that kind of peels off of my face. So what I have actually noticed works very well for me is to put the moisturizer and then wait, I would say 30 minutes or so before putting the sunscreen on, and then after maybe wait for at least 10-15 minutes before putting my foundation on. And I feel like that really helps for the skincare to really settle and get into my skin rather than just having layers on top. So for example, today I used the Deprogram emulsion, and then I waited for about 30 minutes and then I put my sunscreen on, and then now I would say it's been 30, maybe 40-ish minutes. Today for my foundation, this is the one I actually tried yesterday for the first time, but it's the Studio Radiance Serum Powered Foundation from MAC. This one I have actually been eyeing on it for a long time, and my mom's friend actually gave me the one pure package one that she got that she didn't really wanted to use. So it's the NC15, which is a bit darker than my skin, but maybe it goes well with my neck color. So I only used it yesterday and it was getting still a bit dry on my chin, but my chin is always dry whatever I do, and I feel like for the rest of my face it was working very well. So I wanted to try this again to see, to maybe try 2-3 times to see how it actually does on my face. And also every time I'm very surprised how products are small. I know this is maybe 30 milliliters, and that's the standard size for a foundation, but every time I look at it, I'm like, that's freaking tiny, when in my image from the product that I see on their website, for me it's this big, but then it actually half the size of that. So I wanted to try this one. So yeah, so I'm gonna just put my pin as usual, and so let's get started. Oh putain, I forgot to put the Bobbi Brown thing. I was too excited for the foundation. Well, let's try, and if it doesn't work, I'll see what I can do. So I'm just putting all over my face. And one technique that I found is to really spread it. It's just my finger first, like that. And then going with a puff or something, or a brush. I had to put some Bobbi Brown to make sure that everything was nice, because I feel like I don't know if you can see, this camera makes my skin too pretty. It doesn't really do justice. Also feel like the color is very orange compared to my skin. Maybe I have to mix in some, too light concealer that I have. So then I'm taking my NARS concealer. So yeah, so now this is my last, what is it called? My last months of classes. And we have a trip to Barcelona from the end of the month, in less than a week. So I'm quite excited for that, where we could, just spend the last time that I have with my friend, because everyone's either starting an internship in July or either starting at the same time as me. And so I don't know, I feel like it's nice to have a little last moment between ourselves to really just have fun. So I was even thinking that maybe we can do something even if the school doesn't do anything, even just on our own. But it's nice that we have this Barcelona trip, and especially because nothing is decided in that trip. So I feel like it would be a nice thing to just, you know, like just go by the ocean, except I feel like it looks super fucking orange. Yeah, this color really does not match me. Maybe I should try to like take off the pretty skin thing. I feel like this shows truly the nature of my skin and my color. So I don't know if you can see, but it's quite orange compared to my skin, so. And also, the chain's quite dry. I don't know if you can really see in the video, but maybe I can try to put a picture to show after, but I'm just gonna roll with it, and because it's kind of like a let's just stay home and do whatever kind of day. So, and then I wanted to try this MAC eyeshadow that again my mom's friend got me. I'm taking this eyeshadow brush from the 6 Plus package that I had, and I think I'm really just gonna do like freaking simple today. Just gonna take the orange, maybe the green, that's it. And so yeah, I feel like I'm still trying to search, you know, what kind of videos I should be posting here, because I feel like I'm still quite a newbie in makeup. There's still a lot of the things that I have to learn through watching people, also accepting of, you know, like making mistakes, because I feel like, you know, when the people that I watch already know their styles, know what they like, know what you're doing, and I feel like when you're just getting started in this like YouTube thing, you're just still trying to figure out what's your look, what you like, you know, experimenting with foundation, learning how to do things, and etc. And I feel like, I don't know, because I'm still learning on how to even like wear a foundation without my freaking dry skin contributing to creating very, very bad like stuff. I feel like I'm still struggling to even do like a product review, and I feel like, and what was I gonna say? And so also I feel like now, you know, like last I would say like 2 days ago, I was talking with a friend from actually my high school, my French high school in Japan, and then there's like my used to be best friend. I feel like we got, how do we say, apart a little bit because I went to America, but we were just like discussing about how the climate is just like too dry for people with like Japanese skin, because in Japan everything has like so much moisture that, you know, you can just like wash your face and get out if you really like don't have the time, or like if you just don't care about skincare. But when we Japanese skin people, or people who have lived within the Japanese climate where it's always like moist, it's so hard for us to just like adjust to this climate. And I feel like, you know, even when I just like bring my like skincare from Japan where everything works out, like let's say the deprogram one that was working perfectly for me in Japan, and the moment I bring it here, like the first 2 days are like, oh, I can actually use this product in Paris as well, and then gone. Like it just doesn't work out anymore because your skin is like, this is like, there's just not enough water in the air. And I feel like a lot of people might complain about that because, you know, like people have different skin and like different adjustments, but like for me, and like my other friend, it's so hard. Like we can never put on powder because it just like sucks out all the moisture from our skin. Or even like normal foundation, you have to like really like nail it. It's like really a hit or miss of how your skin is doing that day, if you're able to actually put on that foundation or not. I feel like that makes it really difficult for us. I don't want to generalize like everyone who has an Asian skin, because I think everyone is quite different. But for example, for me, like it's true that it's quite hard, and I still don't know how I can adjust myself to this very, very, very dry climate here in Paris. And I feel like because I'm still figuring out, it's like even just like how can I survive, right? It's not even like how can I thrive? How can I thrive? It's more like how can I survive in this freaking dry climate? And I feel like that makes it like really hard for us who have been living in a very warm, not warm, but like more moist climate, on how to actually just even be able to like survive the day without your skin peeling off. And I feel like I tried to search people that actually discuss about like how to get used to European climate, and I feel like no one really talks about it. And I feel like for me that's the biggest struggle. Like I can try on 1,000 foundation, but if my skin is not doing well that day, then what's the point? Because it's just not gonna end up working out. So yeah, I don't know. So maybe I feel like because I do so much research on my own, either that's, you know, to like looking at other people's videos, or either like trying things on my face, I feel like maybe instead of like trying a bunch of products, maybe I should do more videos on like what has worked well for me and what has not worked well for me as a person, as a Japanese. I mean, like I'm half French, half Japanese, but because I lived all my life in a very, like in the Japanese climate where it's moist all the time, like how I can survive in this climate, and how can I actually be able to enjoy makeup, right? Because it's like whatever you try, it's just like disgusting, and you're like at one point you're just like, so yeah, maybe I can try to share a little bit the things that have helped me and not. The reality of what ends up happening. So I'll show you how I just keep my eyes, take everything off, start fresh with moisturizer, just sunscreen, and maybe the MAC face and body to just like see if that works. But I don't know, I just want to be true how my skin is looking, how my feeling about my skin, etc. on this YouTube. So I'll show you that. So these are the actual kit that I usually use to when I have to swipe off everything from my face. This is just like a cotton that I bought in Japan where you can like peel off, but I usually just like use the whole one. And because I don't want to really like create, you know, like touch too much my face, I like put a bunch of this shit in the cotton to just like swipe off everything. So I take one cotton and I like dredge this shit out of it. Where you can like actually feel it. And because this costs like €3 and I've been having for a year, and like I won't use this much, so I'm like it's better to be gentle on your skin than like. So can you see like everything is finally taking off? Actually, like sometimes I try to just like make it work out, and then sometimes I'm like, you know what, like it just doesn't look well, and you have to like, you don't have to suffer to, you know, try to make something work when it just doesn't. So I use the whole one. I'm gonna use another one. I usually try not to use much cotton because I feel like such a waste. Like honestly, you just use this to wipe off your makeup, like. But I've tried the reusable ones, and in my personal opinion, it's just like too much. What is it called? It's too harsh. Like it's not gentle enough. So this is what my actual skin looks like. There's a lot of redness, but that's life, you know, you gotta accept what it is. And actually, like last week, I went to 2 appointments. Like one for, because I have like very thick skin, I have a very big mustache here. I feel like this video is like all over the place, but like this is like me talking about my life. Because I've had mustache, I actually have to like shave it every single morning. Because sometimes I'm like a bit, I'm not complexed, it's more like I just prefer, you know. And then because of that, I shave every time, and I was like, you know what, Emma, you've been shaving for the past like 3 years, why don't you just go get a laser hair removal? But I just wanted to discuss with someone beforehand to make sure that that's actually a good idea. And so like this is usually why my makeup takes like 3 hours, because it just doesn't work for me, so I have to redo the whole thing. Kiehl's and my Beauty of Joseon sunscreen. So I went there, and because she had like, they had a free consultation, I actually asked, and they told me that like usually it doesn't work. Like apparently like a female facial hair, like I didn't really trust what they were saying, because they're like, oh, you know, like if there's no like hair here anymore, like you're gonna get it somewhere else. And I was like, that sounds a bit like bullshit, especially because like dermatologists are like, you know, it's better to do laser hair removal than like actually shaving your face every day. And so I don't know, I just wasn't convinced, and I was like, oh, you know what, I'm just gonna like do it when I'm gonna move to Japan one day. But then I'm like, but still want to check some like one other place out to like get their opinion. So I made a reservation for like, is it next Monday or either like, I think in 2 weeks, to ask them, because they also again had a free consultation there of what they feel they can do for my mustache. I feel like I become all red when I put cream in. Now also for some reason I look like very orange in today's video. Like see, my skin is like suffering. And also the other consultation that I had is to use some like photofacial to target my redness from post acne marks. But she told me that I actually have to stop my Epiduo because like retinol is very photosensitive, and so I can't really be doing the both. So she told me that I'm gonna have to stop Epiduo. And first I was like, oh, you know, might as well just do that so I can take off all the redness that I have on my face right now. But then I realized that when I really don't use Epiduo, I have like so much acne, like I can feel. And also my skin texture is like, I feel bad for my skin when I'm not using Epiduo because it's like suffering so much. And I'm like, if I stop using Epiduo and at the end, if my recommended me like microneedling, etc., but then microneedling doesn't really work for like colored acne marks, and I feel like it's more if you have like dents in your skin from your acne, and I don't have that. So I was like, I'm not gonna pay like $200 to do something that's not really do anything for my skin. So I just decided, you know what, I'm still 22. Yeah, I decided to just wait. So I'm still gonna continue using my Epiduo to prevent my skin from having breakouts. And if my MAC stuff doesn't really work, like not this one because this doesn't work, but if my MAC face and body doesn't work, I'm like, you know, either way, I'm just not gonna be doing anything today, so I might as well just like walk around with a disgusting makeup than like having to actually remove again and hurt my face and stuff. So I'm just putting my sunscreen right now. And then the one I'm gonna use is the MAC Face and Body C1. I feel like that's really a really good color match for my skin, and because it's very hydrating, it could do something for my skin. But yeah, these days I definitely feel me having to take off my makeup multiple times. I can definitely feel it a bit reddish because of the, I don't know if it's inflammation or whatever, it's happening on my skin. So I'm just gonna wait like 10 minutes until this settles down a bit. Maybe put some, I feel like the RMK base actually works pretty well, so I'm gonna try that and the MAC one, and if it doesn't work, then it just doesn't work. So I would say it's been about maybe 10 minutes. So I'm gonna go in with my RMK makeup base. Or should I just do the RMK, because I feel like that one ends up working often than other things. So let's see. So my face is like so fucking red. It's like so irritated. Maybe I have to stop wearing makeup for like a whole good week to make sure that it recovers. So it's gonna be the last video for a long time. Just kidding. So wait, I'm gonna actually take my RMK because I feel like that one has better potential. So this is the non-watered sponge, and this is the ugly water sponge. So I'm gonna do one pump, put it all over my face, and then tap it down. You know what? I feel like it works well with just fingers. Maybe my trick is just using fingers and no sponge, actually. Because I feel like, I don't know. What's the problem? Like, why does it do that? Just gonna try this wig. I mean, it's better than the other one because the other one was like yellowish, but like it's still peeling quite a lot on my chin. It's really like just on my chin, you know. Like the rest is alright. Like, why does my chin like moisture? Like for now, the RMK is the best bet, I would say. Like honestly, it's the best bet that I have. But it's still peeling on my chin, and maybe what's more required is for me to use maybe like an oil to make sure it's not dry. So let's continue because, you know, that's life. I also have the addiction. I really love like Japanese makeup. Actually, I feel like I did a whole tour and like comes back on Japanese stuff. So this is again the one thing that my mom's friend gave me. I think it can be used as it's very pink. I don't know if it really goes well with my orange eyes, but let's see. So I feel like it's more of like, it can be used as a blush as well. It's very like glowy, but at the same time it has a little bit of color, and I feel like it can also be used as for eyes and etc. So maybe it could be nice for the spring weather rather than anything else. And for my lips, actually, like, so there are two lips that she gave me. So there's the MAC Locked Kiss, one in color Teaser, and I feel like this was a good hit. Like, it looks like this, and I'm like, I'm afraid it's gonna get too, what is it called? Beige? I mean, like too neutral. But when you actually put it on, can you see? It gives like a very nice orange color. And I also got the Locked Kiss. Wait, so this is the Locked Kiss normal one, and this is the Locked Kiss in ink. I feel like both are matte. And then this, it's called Extra Chili, And I thought it would look very orange, right? From what it looks like here. I mean, on video it looks orange, but I mean red, but in person it looks a bit more orange. But when I tried it on, it's pretty red. Can you see? Like, it's more like pink red. And because I don't really like pink red, I thought maybe I could mix in with this. Just like putting tiny dots and just like patting in so that it gives a bit more a pop of color while still being a bit orange. Ooh, that looks nice. Looks like I have huge lips when I actually really don't. So this is today's look. It looks a bit orange-ish with a bit of red on the lips. So it ended up being a very chaotic video, but I feel like that's very in my nature. But I'm gonna try to be a bit more selective of what I put or choose, but try to do more research on how I can make them work better for my dry ass skin in this driest climate in France. So stay tuned for that. Maybe I can do like a tiny bits of video throughout the day or like throughout the week, and more like show, oh, like today ended up being looking good, like what did I do differently, or you know, a bit more like a research journal kind of thing to see how and what works so well. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye!